Welcome back. Last episode of the week, finishing out our everyday drills. Third phase of the game, right? Phase often overlooked, can often, too many times, cost us in a game, and that's our specials, right? Special teams. The high school I'm at, we work indie specials daily, every single day. Typically, right after warm-ups, we go to indie specials and we work on our punting, our place kicking, field goal. And while the specialist, right, the kickers, which typically at the high school level is a kid that plays receiver, running back, quarterback, lineman, if you're fortunate enough, a big enough school to where you can actually have a true special kicker, meaning they just kick. Sometimes you can convert a soccer player, or maybe you got a kid who plays soccer but then comes and kicks on Fridays. A lot of times that's why you'll do it at a certain time to accommodate practice time if they're a multi-sport athlete. But if not, most schools we're just having to find a kid that can do it, and we have to kick. I'm not a fan of punting. I'd rather go for it. I'd say that usually works, but we have to, right? We have to be able to punt. If I'm at the 10-yard line, my back's against my goal line, I'm probably punting then. If I'm at the 40, I might go for it if it's 4th and 3, but that's just me. I like to score touchdowns. So, but what we should do, working special teams. We can't forget our special teams. So every day we're working special teams. We should do indie work before we do team stuff, right? So our punter should do some ball drop work. I see too many punters that kind of toss it up in the air and then kick it, right? They probably do okay. But if they really want to be efficient, we work on ball drop. So, I'm a rugby style. I'm not a kicking coach by any means, but I've coached a lot of punters, a lot of kickers. I got some basic stuff. We're just going to work on that catch and really just work on the ball drop first. We're just going to catch, hold it out. I prefer hand on top and then just drop. And so we'll just work drop, and we're just barely, timing that to our foot. We're not even really kicking, just ball drop work. Boom, getting our foot up a little bit while we drop the ball. Then we're going to work approach, right? So that's our steps, right? Our 1, 2, kick. So we're going to kind of add that. So we're kind of working backwards, right? Ball drop, approach. And then once we're actually punting, we're just going to kick at first, right? Because we just want to get the ball away. So we're just going to work on kicking. And this doesn't even have to have our snapper involved. We can just be doing this on our own. Ideally, you want to work on that punter's got to catch the snap, so at least have a coach or another player tossing it to them so they get used to the timing of catch and get their approach down. And then we're kicking. First, we just kick away. Just boom, get the ball out, try to sail it, right? Deep punts, typically is what I mean by kick away, is, hey, just kick it as far as you can, right? We want to pin them back, get them back 20, 25, 30, 40 yards from wherever we're at. And punting's there's a lot of guys who can make it if they're decent at punting just as a punter. So if you can focus on it, it's a skill that'll get you there. Hang time, right? So sometimes we want to kick it, not necessarily shorter, but we really want to boom it in the air so we can get a good cover downfield. Maybe we're inside the 50, so we want to get a lot of hang time and try to pin them deep inside the 10, inside the 5. So working on that hang time so my coverage team can get down there and make a play. Maybe even get a muff and recover it or something, right? Get some hang time on it to really get guys time to get down there. And then directional. Sometimes you got a really good return guy. Maybe he's a D1 prospect at the high school level, and he's all state receiver, and he's just a stud returning punts. So we want to kick away. So we want to work directional both ways, right? So we might want to work short field, wide field. We just have to be able to kick, punt directionally. I've even seen punters, you'll see them really do that rugby style where they'll take 3 steps or kind of side steps one way or another to get that directional. I like to do it from just straight on and just have him turn at the catch, step, and kick. Or if he can do it from straight on, just let him kick and use his leg angle to kind of like a golf shot. We're going to pitch it this way or that way. So directional kicking. Next is our place kicker. And again, typically this is just another guy on our team. May not be the same guy as a punter. If it is, he'll have to work both. And our place kicker for kicking off, for after scores and start the games, may or may not even be the same person that's our field goal PAT guy. All right, so we'll have to work in the guys. Who's doing it kind of matters. Typically, you want an older, kind of varsity guy or two, and then you want a JV guy or two for all of these positions. That way, we got backups due to injuries, plus you're developing that young kicker to take over when the next guy graduates. So, have them kind of rotate if they're kicking 2 or 3 different ways here. So same thing with place kickers. I have them work approach first, so they just work their steps back and approach where the tee would be. Same thing for field goal PAT. Step it off, 1, 2, kick, same idea. We're just approaching, we're warming up our steps to get the steps right. If we can get that footwork right, the kick itself's that much easier. Then we start kicking. Same thing, we're going to kick away. We're just kicking the ball, getting it off the tee, and we're going, right? So now we're talking kickoff, right? Kicking from the tee. We're going to just kick away, kick it deep, try and get the touchback basically. Then we want to work directional probably next on this. And again, same idea. If we got a good return guy, we want to take half the field. A college coach locally, his goal is he directional kicks every time, and his thinking, and I like it, is take half the field away. It shortens your return guys, and you can set it up to where, have a call for right, left, even center, and then, that way those guys know, hey, it's us, we're on for your return team to get down there. Next is hang time. Same idea as the punt, getting it up in the air. Sometimes that's almost like a different tool to our onside kick arsenal, almost like a pooch kick, behind the front line in front of the deep backs, and we want to get downfield. Or we just want hang time to get our coverage team down there. Maybe we don't care if they get the ball at the 30 or something. We just want to get down there, let them catch it at the 20, and boom, go make the play. So hang time kicks as well. Then our onsides. And every state's kind of changing rules right now on how we can do onside kicks. In Oregon where I'm at, we can't kick it directly at, that guy in the front line. We used to just kick it at that big lineman that was right there, hope he fumbles and we recover. We can't kick it at him. We also can't intentionally flub it into the ground to get that high bouncing movement. So you got to figure out what's legal. Typically it's a directional kind of, bouncing, rolling kick now, but you got to work it, because that one game that you needed, that 2 games you needed to have a chance to win, you've got to be able to make the onside kick. Field goal PAT, so if this is the same guy, work a little bit of this, then get to PATs. If your punter does, place kicking off the tee and punting, work his reps where he's not over kicking. You don't want to hurt hamstrings or hip flexors from kicking too much. If he's got another position he plays as well, especially. But then when we work our field goal PAT, we need to do more than just line up and kick them. I got this from a special teams coach back in Indiana, a friend of mine. He would have them go to the end line of the end zone to where they're looking at the goalpost, they're even with it, and they kick from the corner of the end zone, the out of bounds corner, and try to hit the upright. And so it's just a nice work on accuracy. So they should have warmed up, and done some of this other stuff, and then go over and kind of work on accuracy, then walk them out on the field and actually start making the field goals, right? Then lastly, don't forget about your long snapper, right? That guy's got a pretty stressful job if he gets it in his head, right? He should rep a ton. If it's the same guy doing your punts and PAT field goal, have him work with your number 1 punter, have him work with your number 2 punter. Same thing, field goal PAT, that's a different angle, right? One is chest high, one, is basically at the knees of a guy standing up to your holder. Your holder's another one that should be working that too. And again, have 2 or 3 guys that can hold, get the snap down. So maybe those two, the holder and the long snapper work, while these guys are working approach and kicking away or working on punt, and then your snapper works with your punter, while one of the backups works with field goals, and they flip. So just make sure we're working our special teams. That third phase of the game, we have to have it, because a lot of times that's the difference between a W or an L on the sheet of paper at the end of the night. So we want to practice those. We want to be crisp at them. And while these guys are working, take your other guys up. What we like to do during that Indy specials is have our kick, our whole team run kickoff type stuff. It's a little bit of conditioning, and everybody should kind of have an idea of how to take a lane, and we'll work different things, swimming through, we'll work directional stuff, avoid to the right, avoid to the left. That way if we have a directional kick, we're avoiding that blocker from a certain way. So we'll kind of work some of that stuff while those 5, 6, 8 guys are working, we'll make sure the other guys are working too. So we don't want idle time at practice, so utilize your time wisely. You know, we get 2.5 hours with them, use it wisely. And most of this, we're not kicking, you know, at most youth levels, so most of this starts at high school. So if you're an athlete or a parent, you got a younger kid, a middle schooler, start working some of this so that when they get to high school, they got a chance to be that kicker, that punter maybe, you know. So don't be afraid to grab these and, you know, working one-on-one with your kids, or if you're the athlete, you know, work these. So once again, appreciate it. Again, Coach Michael Fields on Instagram, at Michael K. Fields on Twitter. You can email me at coachmichaelfields@gmail.com, sorry. And again, like, subscribe, share, comment below. Appreciate everybody watching, and we'll look forward to the next episode.